had a table.
Yeah, that was a good idea. Never thought of that one, yeah. You're on it, yeah, that was a good thing, Doug. I didn't even know I was there. I wanna go back there. See what we can do there, that's a nice room.
So. Just get rid of this. That's something I want. So,
Doug, we can say something about your yard, maybe something for a bench in the garage, and now we just chuck them in.
but that's not my truck.
There you go, Doug, you like it, are they heavy?
They're heavy, 100 pounds a piece.
Maybe it's been a long time.
Everybody ready? I'm gonna call this meeting to order. Stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And can you do a roll call for me, please?
Yes, Muller,
Here.
Moretti,
Here.
Francis.
Here.
Youngs,
Here.
Thomas,
Here.
Hager, Schwartz.
Here.
Crawl.
Here.
Hanson.
Here.
Erickson.
Here.
Bowles.
Here.
Lauer. Here. Luchin. Here. Pillar. Wolf.
Okay. Okay, I acknowledge that the meeting was properly noticed and posted. Then I need approval of the minutes. It is not from September 24th. It is from November 12th, 2024, as presented.
Can I make a modification to the minutes first?
Will you go right ahead, Roxanne? What do you want to do?
Number 6, we should spell Doug's last name correctly. I'll make a motion to approve minutes for November 12th.
Need a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Communications. Our clerk is, other things to, she has different appointments tonight, so she isn't here. The only communication I got is Diane is gonna be taking the minutes tonight. And Tristan down at the aging has a treatment lighting for dementia. That's where he went down.
Yes, Alzheimer's
Yeah.
and dementia, and it's in remembrance of or in honor of anybody that, you know, that is dealing with that disease. And which day was it?
I think it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow night.
I think it's tomorrow night or anything. And that's all I have. Okay, now we're moving on to number 7, Heather at Land and Water Conservation. She's gonna give her a presentation to the county board, what she does. And she does a lot.
Good evening. So for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Heather Palmquist. I work for the Iron County Land and Water Conservation Department. I'm the County Conservationist Board Department Head. And at our last LCC meeting, Mert asked if I would come in and take the stage and tell you guys about what I think is the best kept secret of all the departments in Iron County. So we do a lot. We have 2 full-time staff. Currently, it's just me right now. We had our conservation specialist leave at the end of August. So, like I said, I'm the department head. I handle all the administration, grant writing, budgeting, all the day-to-day operations. I also do all of our technical design and handle our cost share program, which is a very large program where we are able to help private landowners with a variety of different things to address natural resource concerns to promote healthy water and healthy soil in our county. So through that, I meet with landowners, look at issues that they might be having, whether it's a private landowner or a municipality, see if it fits our program and we can work with them. Then I go through and I work with an engineer who helps us. She's works for the Department of Ag, Trade, and Consumer Protection. And we work together on coming up with that technical design. And then there's a cost share contract, so we have funding that comes from the state. And then we start to finish manage that entire project. Go back, check and make sure that it was installed properly, and then handle all the reimbursement for those projects. In addition to that, then I also manage our native plant sale, which is a pretty good program, or big program. Our conservation specialist, again, currently that position is vacant, but a lot of you knew that Zach Wilson had that position. So they do, that position does a lot of outreach and education with our both Hurley and Mercer schools, doing the Woods and Waters or Martin and Moon project. They also handle our poster and speaking contest, which is a statewide conservation contest. And then they do a lot of outreach and education to lake groups, to private citizens, volunteers, public, etc. They handle the invasive species program, so both aquatic and terrestrial invasive species, monitoring, education, doing some treatment efforts, and then they coordinate our summer LT program as well. They also train water quality volunteers, and currently we've been monitoring about 32 lakes every year. And then in the summer, we get about anywhere from 2 to 4 LTE staff, limited term employment staff, that help us with primarily that invasive species program, and then we also try to give them a well-rounded program and kind of see what other programs that we do, specifically some of those cost share projects. So funding, where does this all come from? I think it's really important to know that we have most of our funding comes from the Department of Ag, Trade, and Consumer Protection, or DATCP. So my position is 100% funded by the state through DATCP, and that includes my benefit package as well. Then the conservation specialist for that other position is 70% funded by the state through the DATCP grant that we get every year. Typically, they are also, according to state statute, supposed to give 50% for a third position. However, due to budget, most of the time they can't get to that position. So we've never really had a third full-time position in the department. And then again, they give us that cost share funding for all of those conservation projects as well. We also receive a wildlife damage program grant every year from the DNR. And that helps farmers recoup costs for wildlife damage to their crops. And then we get annual funding for our LTE staff for our invasive species work. We also do a lot of other grants here and there for other projects that we have. And then there's also a county levy contribution as well. So just to kind of see where that all lies, I kind of showed you right here. You can see the graph. So about 60% of our funding for the entire department comes from DATCP, and you can see the percentages in the pie graph as well as the actual numbers. And these were from 2023, since that was done, and you can see what that looks like. So just a little bit about our cost share program, in case some of you don't know about that. We have a list of practices through ATCP 50, which is a state statute. And basically all of those practices are to promote healthy soil and water throughout our state. So again, we go through, we do survey, design, I work on permitting, and then depending on the practice, we can either fund up to 50 or up to 70% of the entire project cost. Through that Department of Ag, Trade, and Consumer Protection, most counties in the state are very heavily ag focused. Iron County doesn't have, is not heavy on that egg. But we do work with the few farmers that we have. So here's a couple of photos of a farm practice that we did where we did concrete in a feedlot to get a nicer, cleaner surface for the farmer and for the animals, and also make sure that they had clean drinking water. We also do a lot of stream crossings with our municipalities. Here's a couple of examples. So obviously we had a big washout over on the picture on the left. And so we properly size those culverts up to a 100-year flood event and make sure that they are installed correctly for fish passage and just to make sure that the stream levels maintain the natural velocities. Here's a couple of pictures of shoreline practices. So this is where we work with private landowners. Here you have a major bank failure. So the threat to water quality is impeding, increasing sediment loads into lakes and rivers, covering up spawning habitat. And so we protected that toe or the bottom of the bank with riprap rock. And then in order to fill that void, we built a living retaining wall. So in the middle bottom picture there, we actually use these, what we call geobags. They're basically like a large sandbag, and in between the courses of those sandbags, you put plant plugs in there. And then over on the right is a picture of a couple of years after that project was installed. You can't even see those bags anymore. So that's just kind of our department in a nutshell, super quick and dirty. There's a lot of times that we have bigger conservation issues that go above and beyond what our little cost share funding that we get. So if you remember on that one slide of the breakdown, I get $44,000 a year on average to address natural resource concerns. So sometimes towns or landowners have come to me in the past and said, we have this major issue and it's far larger that our funding can't address that. So then I go out and I start looking for additional grant funds. So here's an example of a project that we worked on. Can you see? There we go. All right. This isn't working. Okay. So in 2018, I worked with the town of Kimball on a culvert replacement, just a normal culvert replacement on Mackey Road, which is right here, this crossing right here. In 2019, they came back to me and they said, hey, we have some erosion issues kind of in this area on State Line Road, and this is Curry Creek. Could you help us out with that? So we started looking at that, and we came up with a couple of ideas, and we put that to the DNR permitters, and they said, no, none of those things will work. If you look at the historic maps, that channel used to crisscross underneath State Line Road. At some point in time, the town removed those pipes and diverted the stream channel down the ditch line of State Line Road. Over years, it's become in size, which means basically it eats away and becomes a big V. There's no natural floodplain for the stream to get out of its bank and kind of spread out. So as a result, this entire watershed, from basically here all the way down to the Montreal River, all these people in there were throughout that watershed were having major flooding issues. So people's garages were flooding, people's basements were flooding, and neighbors were, pointing fingers at whose issue was what. So when we went to do that simple permitting on a simple fix to a certain area, that project became very, very large, super quick. So the Curry Creek Watershed Project was born. And so that project started to consist of 9 different stream crossings, 7 of which were on public roads, and then 2 of which were private driveways. And then the creation of a stream channel to restore that from the ditch line and put it back to where it historically was, even though you couldn't even see an old stream bed. And so we literally had to build and create about 800 linear feet of stream. We'd never done that before. With habitat structures for brook trout to boot. So this ended up being a very, very large project. So it took a couple of years, but I was able to secure about $400,000 between 2 different grants. One was through DATCAP, our funder. So we got a $50,000 grant. Mind you, that is in addition to the $44,000 that I do on other projects. And then we also got a grant for $350,000 through the DNR through trout stamp funding. So in 2023, we were able to accomplish 8 culvert installations, 6 on those town roads, 2 on the private driveways, and we created 800 linear feet of stream. And then we also had to restore that ditch line. So if you were to look at the bottom of that ditch, that stream was about, in some places, 5 to 6 feet below where the roadbed was. So it was pretty dangerous. And due to a lot of different things, but due to permitting, we ended up getting a very compressed crunch timeline. And so we had to do all of that work in five weeks. Because we had a September 15th deadline, because those of you who know anything about stream work, on a trout stream, September 15th is the cutoff for any work in a stream on a trout stream because of spawning. So we were able through really good communication, really good effort through the highway department and town of Kimball, we were able to wrap that up on September 14th because that was a Thursday. Highway doesn't work on Fridays. And we met that deadline of September 15th. So here's a couple of photos of some of those culverts. These were all very large, 103 inches wide, 71 inches tall. And then we started building, this is just some photos of building that trout stream too. So 8 culverts and 800 linear feet of trout stream. So in that picture on the left, you can see some stakes. That's kind of where we wanted that stream to kind of meander. The excavator operator had to completely clear that wood line out and then start excavating a stream channel. As we were removing the trees, we kept a lot of those in different lengths. You'll see the root along with some of the trunk and then just big pieces of tree trunk. We were using all of those for our habitat structures in the stream that we were building. Here's a couple of pictures of just digging out and creating that stream channel. So on that top left, you can see that there's big boulders that we placed on the sides of some of those bends. Picture below that, you can see the DATCAP engineer. She's actually shooting all the levels to make sure that your stream is running downstream, right? So water will run down. And then over on the right, we had our DNR fisheries crew actually helping us install some of those habitat structures. So we designed everything, but we leaned on the DNR fish crew to kind of tell us where best some of those structures would fit because they knew the biology of the fish. So they were out there every day right with us throughout all of construction. So here again is some of those different habitat structures. So this is what we call a root wad. So you've got your root wad of your tree trunk. This is all then buried, so that it's that root wad is sticking out of the bank. Here's a root wad and a couple of pieces, what we call a spider log. So water can kind of hit this log, go underneath that root wad, and then downstream here. And then these are what they look like when they're done being installed. So that left-hand picture is looking downstream from the private driveway. The picture on the top is a site upstream coming out. That's our first stream crossing. And then again, one of those spider logs in the bottom right. And Trout Unlimited came out when they heard about this project. They were pretty excited about it. Again, no one's built a trout stream in the state. So they came out and they did some drone footage for us. So this was actually taken this summer or early fall. And they flew over for us and got some good shots. So this is a year after construction. And then this is looking upstream of that. All right, so that was 2024. If you were paying attention, you would realize that I dropped one of those culverts. So we were really concerned that, first of all, we wouldn't have had the time, but also budget, right? So we were able at the end of 2023, with all of those things, all of the crossings and building that stream, we were able to come in under budget. So we had $69,000 left over from that trout stamp funding. I estimated the project to come in around $86,000. So I said, well, I'll throw some cost share funding at it, but I can't do all of it. So then I applied for a Trout Unlimited grant for the remaining balance of roughly around $7,000. And so this is the final downstream structure. So this required an even bigger structure. And this is right before this stream dumps into the Montreal River. So this is what we call an aluminum box culvert. Never been installed before in Iron County. And so we had a really great working relationship where town of Anderson, which we're going to get to next, they were putting in a structure similar to this. And so I got town of Anderson and town of Kimball to work together so that they could learn from each other and help each other build this. So these literally come in pieces. You can see at the bottom, they're starting to put all of that floor together of that aluminum box culvert, and then they had to assemble the top and then those bracing pieces on each one of those. So it took a couple of days to assemble this structure. And then we had the actual installation of this. So we had, again, Highway was out there doing a large majority of the work, working right alongside town of Kimball. And then we had to get the forestry department to get their excavator, because we needed 2 excavators to move this large of a structure and set it. And when they were lifting that structure, 2 excavators at the same time communicating, hoping that thing wouldn't fall. I thought I was going to puke at that time, but they did a fantastic job. It was pretty amazing. Set that structure without any issue at all. And then that bottom photo shows the rock protection around it once it was finally installed. So the entire project cost 9 structures, stream crossings, and 800 linear feet came to $415,000. Again, there's the breakdown, that $350,000 from Trout Stamp. DATCAP throwing an additional grant of $50,000. Our cost share funds this year coming in at just over $8,000. An additional Trout Stamp grant of $7,000, and the town of Kimball's cost was $1,300. It's pretty amazing. And so the other thing that I wanted to highlight is this project. We had Town of Kimball out there working. We had Iron County Highway Department working on this start to finish. Our DNR fisheries biologist and his staff out there, the DACCAP engineer, and then also this wouldn't have been possible without those two landowners saying, yes, put a trout stream on my property. That took some convincing. So now Town of Anderson. Town of Anderson has had this this crossing on its mind for several years. This pipe is on the Tyler Forks River, which if anybody knows what the Tyler Forks River is, it's a pretty darn good sized river in this county. And it is, again, a trout stream. This culvert might not look that large. It's about 14 feet wide and about 8 feet tall. When they put this in, it was too short. So there are no sides to that road. It's literally straight down. And so year after year, they were having major issues with the roadside eroding, and this was kind of a pain for them. It's a very, very narrow road, and if you ever go down Caroline Lake Road, there's a lot of log truck traffic on it. This was a pretty sketchy spot. So project estimate on this one, $98,000, big project. How do we fund that one? So I found out about the Enbridge Eco Footprint Grant, and I was applied for that. I was awarded that $89,000. It required some cost share or some match to that, so we said that we would put $14,000 worth of our cost share funding on that project as well. So again, here's Town of Kimball repaying Town of Anderson for their hard work in trading work. So there again, you can see that they're building this structure. This one was 21 feet wide and about 6 feet tall. So this was the biggest structure that we put in to date with these balloon box culverts. We had to actually reroute that entire stream. So here is the road. The actual river flows up here, and that stream crossing is about right there. So we had to literally build a new stream channel, and so that we didn't have a bunch of sediment flushing down that river and destroying water quality. We had to line it with plastic. So here's what we did to stop that water flow and literally divert it into that new stream channel. We had a couple of box trenches. On the left, that's the old structure being removed. It took 2 excavators to do that. And then again, the new structure coming down again with the 2 excavators. And I just have to say that Iron County Highway Department has some pretty darn talented operators. So this one was a little bit different in the fact that we had head walls and wing walls on that inlet end. And this just kind of helps get that water to come into the structure and kind of gives it some more protection. So here's installing that. We had some issues, and I think we were out there till about 9:30 that night. But here, Enbridge came out. They did a 2.5-minute video. We posted that on our Facebook page. I think the county Facebook page has it on there as well. But here's some drone footage that they took of this site. So that's after the structure's in. It's now a full 2-lane road with a little parking spot on the end of it, so people could fish if they like. So because of running into some of those issues, this project went in over budget, which was not something that we wanted to see, especially this year. So this project cost came in at $119,000. Again, that Eco Footprint Grant was $89,000. I didn't know how this one was going to go, so I was very careful with my cost share funding, and so I kind of saved some of that. So we were actually able to put in just over $30,000 of cost share funding on that. So the town of Anderson had a $0 cost to this. And again, town of Anderson, Highway Department, Iron County Forestry. They allowed us to clear part of the forestry land so that we could build that culvert on a little landing pad that they created there. And also use their excavator. We had, again, DNR Fisheries out there kind of looking at, they shut the stream and kind of relocated the trout while we were working on this, and our DACAP engineer in addition. So just in summary, in 2 years, in 2023 and 2024, wanted to just kind of stress the fact that we were able to come up with $496,000 of additional funding for these projects, and that's on top of what we do every year. So, pretty awesome conservation success story, and just wanted to share with you guys. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions for Heather?
Great presentation.
It was,
Yeah.
and I think Pat's here from the town of Anderson, and he can contest that without Heather, you would have never been able to, the town of Anderson would have never done it. You wouldn't have the money.
Some of the projects we were fighting for the last 20 years
Yeah,
was, we were fighting on some of the 20-foot culvert over and really kept washing out, riding trucks, they were afraid some of this. And the opportunity to come up with other, so let's try to get that. Now it's all through.
I think Heather's department helps a lot of the towns and everything, and they couldn't do some of this stuff without you. I think Heather does a good job. I must, evidently the committee agrees with me too, because they put Heather up for an award. Roxanne, what is the award?
It's, water conservation, employee.
She does a very nice job. She, like she said, her assistant left in August. She knew we were in a bind, and she said, Murph, you can save a little money, I'll get by for the rest of the year. We'll hire somebody in the beginning of the year. They thank you for that too. Very nice presentation. Anybody have anything to say other than thank you to her?
Yeah.
Because she does a lot
It's a
for
hell
us.
of an undertaking.
Yes.
Thank you for the pictures and demonstrating how it all works. You know, you can only say so much in words.
I've never seen a culvert like that.
Putting in a small one's hard enough.
No, but like that, no
Let
one's
alone
there.
something like that.
If anybody was paying attention, I seen Pat in that picture.
Yeah.
I knew that was Pat.
What's the life on those?
Just to put this all together, just for one thing, there's volcanoes and bolts, 750 bolts in the bid on the next.
Oh,
You gotta go inside and around and things done.
yeah.
You guys are inside working, who else?
Yeah,
It doesn't always work, so.
water quality.
You
have acidic water,
drop
it's
another one.
less,
And they gotta go over.
That's an email.
Yeah, I think it's a 75-year life expectancy. I didn't want
And I also like the way the departments work together. I like that. There's gonna be more of that. It's coming, believe me. Okay.
I had no clue that those projects were going on. Thank you for.
I heard that they were very impressed. They didn't think that could ever be done for the price that you guys did that Town of Kimball project for. They never thought they would.
People across the state were pretty
Yes.
shocked about that they
Yeah.
did it for that cheap. I was laughed at a lot when I told the one I had for a budget.
And then you showed the pictures,
That's pretty cool.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you for
Thank you.
coming. Then we'll move on to number 8, the committee, department heads, and chairs report. Which way you wanna go? Let's go to you, Dougie. Turn off, you always, okay, let's go this way.
It's the Memorial Building. We had a meeting this week, and the floors are done.
They look nice.
Well, they're almost done. They're gonna be some touch-up work and stuff, but they look very, very nice. And other than that, things that we're purchasing, to keep things going in the right direction.
It is going in the right direction. That's all I got to say about that.
And then Roxanne can actually fill us in on moving on that. All right. We're still going for the 501c3. That's moving forward.
Yeah.
And thanks to Roxanne, we're going in the right direction and a lot of hard work from Roxanne.
From all of yous on that committee, you're all very passionate. I like that.
So that's all.
Anything for
We
the
just gotta
fair.
find an electrician.
Yeah, we're having a hard time finding an electrician. I think I'm contacted 5 already and
I think personal electrician, isn't it?
who?
One personal electrician?
No, Bull's a plumber.
Oh.
I haven't gotten anything further than Mercer. Haven't got Ashland.
Talk to Arvin Civil, he did all the work in there.
Yeah, is he still licensed and insured?
That's where, yeah.
Otherwise, I could do it myself, but we gotta have someone licensed and insured.
Thank you, Dougie. Hey, Bill, you got anything? You're up. What's next?
Oh, you go this way.
Yeah, we're going this way.
Okay, Highway Department had a meeting on November 19th. One of the things that we agreed to purchase dash cameras for the paint trucks, plow trucks, and flagging operations, just in case of have something on record in case of an accident. We agreed to purchase a 2020 skid steer for $63,000. And the Commissioner's report, County H and J projects are completed. Reimbursement was submitted to the state. Started cutting trees on County H or G, I mean, project. Winter readiness agreement for $25,000 was submitted to the state. County H surplus of $50,000 will be used on County G. Signing traffic signs of pavement marking agreement with the state for 2025. Additional funding available for pavement marking. For Kerry gravel crushing, I guess this is on the agenda for tonight too. And that's about all I have.
Jamie,
Nothing. Got
Mario.
meetings next week.
No, don't think that.
Mother, over. Scott.
Forestry, a few things here, and I'll let Eric explain some of this. Stumpage, 1.52 million. Not a lot of weeks left. We're plus 37,000 over last year, but may or may not. It's been coming in slow lately, so may or may not be above where we were last year. We got a couple items on here today. 15, the 15-year plan, and 19, a special land use permit for a event happening out by Whitecap that they need some county land to use for a little bike race for kids. We passed or approved title and appraisal for the land around the Gal flowage to move that project forward. And again, with highway, we're looking at going in on some gravel crushing. And a couple, one good thing here, Eric's here to tell us about some progress in our carbon credit program.
Yeah, so in November, we made our first official carbon credit sale. The gross sale value was $1,010,000. Expenses for the project to date have to be taken off of that first. And then when that's done, Iron County should be looking at somewhere around $575,000 coming into the county. Typical time from the sale completion to when we would see money is 30 to 60 days. We're already about 30 days into that, so we should be looking at seeing some revenue sometime between now and the middle of January. And we'll know exactly what that dollar amount is once they got all the final expenses calculated. So, yeah, so that was good. And then The other thing that is happening on the carbon credit part is Anu has entered into an agreement with a private company that is going to provide carbon credit sales internationally that will allow buyers to have a little more confidentiality on who's purchasing what. But Anu is putting 75,000 carbon credits into this business as seed credits, so to speak. And they picked 5 projects out of their portfolio of projects they got all over the place, and Iron County and Bayfield County were 2 of the 5. So I don't know for positive, but I'm assuming that since it's 5 projects and 75,000 credits, it's 15,000 credits for each project that's being put in there. But it's kind of good. It's good news. We did get our first sale. We got our expenses covered, and now we're part of this other international marketing project. So hopefully we'll be able to see some additional sales here moving forward. But like I told the forestry committee earlier, even if we got one of these once a year, $500,000 shot in the arm is better than nothing. So, questions?
How many, you talked about 15,000 credits, 50,000 credits for this other new project. For the 1,000,010 that we're gonna get 575 from, how many credits was that 1,000,010 from?
I will say that our agreement with the new is we have a confidentiality agreement. So they would like us to talk in gross numbers instead of breaking it down too far, because they're trying to maintain the integrity of their pricing. If that satisfies your question.
So just worry about the check number. That's all we're allowed. Thank you, Eric, and thank you for putting forth the effort. That's something that you did as a department head, and I know you did on your own to help the county. And this board appreciates that.
Hopefully it's the first of many. Fingers crossed.
Thank you. Scotty, you got anything else?
Oh, that's it, Murphy.
Well, that's the best present that Santa gonna give us. Pat, you got anything?
Recycling, we ran our meeting, our year is running, we had a party running. I'm not sure. Zoning, as far as our meeting, the pet's still coming in. I think we went through what document last meeting. Out of the airport, we're running, we started new flights. They're running from Unison now. We're talking about going someplace else again. We're getting more, seems like more passengers. And we have a program that we brought up the other night. It was brought up to the Michigan State Police. And this is for young ones that are in school, a defensive driving class. They're gonna have always out at the airport on the off ramps on weekends. So these kids can go out and do this training. It's for Hurley, Mercer, Bessemer, all over. Any of the students that want to sign up for this, it's run by the state police. And whatever they in is turned over back to their police.
You might let the kids learn how to do donuts out in the middle of a runway and then some back road learn the pickers. Agreed, that's a good thing.
You had that when you were young.
Yeah, no, really.
I ran this same course over at the college, but they said they were in the parking lot. And they had to be constantly like this, public coming from the outside.
Yeah,
Kids didn't have a chance to try them, and they're like going down the roadway and doing defenses
I think that's a good thing.
to the homes in there. They had to be watching them so close over there because they wanted to move and keep all costs. It was voted on and agreed that they were going to do it. And our junior member sat through half the meeting, and I'm scratching my head, what's this kid doing? Then I realized, the board really appreciated it. They couldn't get over it. Some kids would take the time to come out and sit at a board meeting. It was really good.
I'm glad our kids are active in this community and it, because they're gonna take this over.
So they got a big thumbs up on it.
I'm glad, yes, on forestry, just before this meeting, yeah, I like it. I really do. And I told them that I wanted to speak to, my first day when I don't want to. But as this goes on, I want to know what they think.
And they were glad, even though Michigan wanted to use them, they didn't do it over there. They were really impressed. Kids would come and actually sit in the meeting and pay attention to what was going on.
That's good.
Want to thank Neil for that?
Yeah, Neil, you did that. He was here on the end.
The concerts.
Let him know.
Barry, let Neil know. And that's UW Extension too. It's not only Neil, it's UW Extension.
Neil had called me that somebody, he had a person
Yeah.
who wanted to sit on the airport board. And I said, well, I'll call over there, and they had no rights about it. But it just happened to be the meeting before I caught this.
Thank you, Pat.
That's all I had as far as.
Carl,
Before you don't have, we haven't had a lot of West End complaints fairly soon here for a few issues, and then we self,
Performance appraisals.
yeah, self-appraisal for the, emergency management.
Rick,
No meeting yet, 18th of this month, we'll meet with economic development.
we're meeting in Mercer.
That's what I see Joe sent out.
The Mountain doesn't come to Mohammed, so we're all going to Mercer. We're gonna try to do whatever we can to get Mercer involved. So we're gonna go there. Karen,
A couple things. Transportation was held on November 14th. Historically, there had been a 50/50 grant that was run through there between us and Highline. We have grants and we were sharing it with Highline. Through a lot of discussion, we made the determination we are still going to split that grant, but we are not going 50/50. We're going 60/40, 60 for the county and 40 for Highline. That's exclusive of the $15,000 that's a matching fund and $6,000 for the volunteer driver. So just so you're aware, we did approve to continue to split the grant at this point in time. Because the funding was a little bit less than what we were hoping for, we are not going to be exploring transportation in southern or western part of the county at this point. Human services budget, there was a budget change. There was a reduction in expenses by $23,000, which was put into the budget due to this allocation. And we updated one job description, reviewed the 24 budget and 25 budget, and info on placements and caseloads and all the other things that are going on with regular work. Many contracts were approved for 2025 at that meeting. We were discussing an RFP that we were going to seek for some of our contracted services. We're not going to pursue it at this time. The department has already reduced quite a bit of cost in those contracts. We're not going to do that at this time. Our agency is still working with Mercer School, trying to get more engagement involvement there. Crystal Farrell is still training two of our social workers, one taking the national exam soon, and the other will complete before long. And also she's providing support to Lawrence County and Bayfield counties. ADRC has a new reporting system and staff are in the process of learning that process. It's been a little bit, anyways for now. We also are hiring a cook for Mercer, one applicant so far, and we have started doing congregate dining again on Wednesdays there, but it's with the meals brought in from Curly. I attended it today, and it actually went better than it has historically, so that was positive. Health Department, the Board of Health approved support for the Health Department to pursue a public health accreditation, and that's going to be quite a bit of work. So that's coming up in the future. We approved a bunch of resolutions which are all on our agenda for today. We also approved the payout for overtime of 39.75 hours for an environmental health specialist. This occurred due to nitrate testing this last summer. There's a requirement that test has samples that have to be done in a certain time frame. That was part of the reason that occurred. So the department head is working to ensure that no overtime will be done. Rest of it's all typical work for the department. That's it.
Thank you, Karen. Okay, Roxanne.
I just have a quick extension update. As you know, there was a budget reduction, and Bruce, our horticulturist, ended his position on November 30th. And he finished up his week with columns through December 2nd, and he started a new position for UW-Madison as their statewide horticulture outreach specialist on December 1st. And then a couple of other things of note with 4-H, we were just talking about Neil. He's been busy. He's been facilitating a placemaking training for Iron County Youth Council members. He acquired $5,000 in financial support from an anonymous donor for upcoming Iron County Youth Leadership Council projects. He's done a number of things with the CC Endurance Team Cross Country Ski Club, getting that going. It's like we're gonna have enough snow to do all those things, so that's all good. He's getting ready for the summer youth camp. He does a lot of fundraising for that summer youth camp. He sets up a camper for male volunteers, and he also handles the camp council application process. And then Joe Miller, community development, has been very active as well. He has done FEMA assistance for firefighter grant for Hurley Fire Department. And then he's also doing some research for the Northern Islands Health Foundation clinic grants so that we can hopefully get the clinic back with the Mercer and surrounding areas. And he's also done some other like IT type programming, Be Nice to You Robot, Introduction to Artificial Intelligence. He did the Pullman Health Fair Resource Fair in Mercer and in Hurley. He's been entrepreneurship boot camp that's going to start up in January 7th, so he's a very valuable member for us as well. And several of the other folks have been helping out with things like the mobile food pantry, and of course Rebecca is kind of the glue around here too. She helps hold everything together and got a whole list of things that she does to support it, including getting things onto our website. You'll notice that more of the meeting agendas and meeting minutes are now out on the Iron County website, and that's in large part due to Becky helping to get those things out there to management. So it's great. We're up to date there too. That's it.
Okay, and Joel is he's helping us do in economic development, so is Becky. So yes, we did lose a person in UW Extension, but the people that are still there are doing more. We opened up other doors for them. Yeah, we like UW Extension. They've been very helpful, very. Thank you, Roxanne. And last but not least, Kurt.
Finance met a few weeks ago on the agenda tonight,
talked about 4 things. Roxanne as temporary administrative coordinator, approval of new board rules, approval of the employee handbook draft, and another discussion on wage benefits study. On December 2nd, Government Solutions met here. Roxanne, Casey, Tana, Kristen, and I met. We discussed a number of ways we could maybe look at improving our financial reporting. On December 3rd, the county finalized its loan on the 24 CapEx loan and paid off the 23 placement loan. And I think the next big thing to work on is probably pivoting to work on all the special revenue funds we created and make sure that that reporting activity with meeting and working around the budgets are set up. So Roxanne and I want to work with Kristen. That's it.
That's good. And then, consultants that came here, they said everything we need, we have, it just ain't getting right. You know what I'm saying? We have to present it into our budget and into the audit book differently. We have it all. Just have to put it in there differently. Okay, right, clear that. Public comment, anybody have any public comment? Anybody has anything to say? Okay, with that, we're gonna discuss action resolution 2024-3079. Establish a usual and customary fee for follow-up testing under the transient non-community program. Listen, you got anything to say so they know what they're voting on? What is this?
That one, I don't know what her, I don't know what.
It has to do with that test and it.
Yeah, I don't know what her actual fees are. I have the other fees. I couldn't find those. I just know that our fees have not been
It's $35.
increasing.
Yeah.
It's in that. Is that for both, or is that for the?
This is for that, for this, 37 million.
In which Melissa said our fees have not been gone up in what, years?
years.
So they're all modest increases.
Okay, need a motion?
Make that motion.
I'll
second.
Okay,
I got it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next one is discussion action resolution 2024-3080. Increase usual and customary fee for routine foot care service. Same thing here. We never raised the fee for toe jam for 20 years. So we're just,
I make a motion to approve 2024
we got a motion by Kurt Wolf. Do I have a second?
I'll support.
Supported by Mario. Is there any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 12, discuss action resolution 2024-30-3081, increase the usual and customary fee for bacteria and nitrate water testing, same thing. We gotta bring them up to date. We have a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Jamie Francis, seconded by Paul Muller. Does anybody have any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Discuss an action resolution 2024-3082, support of impact 7, 40 unit housing development. City of Early asked us if we'd write a letter to support this. They ran out of some funds there. They're trying to get it back. Kurt, can you explain a little bit better? Because you were on the call.
Right, they have, so Impact 7 is doing the housing development, and there was a grant that they were hoping to get to be part of the deal that didn't go through. And so they wanted Early in the county to write to WIDA, who's the main sponsor of the funding for this, to see if they can find some replacement dollars to put the gaps and get what
They fell short. We really tried to help. They wrote letters to Chance Green, governor and everything. We just want to support Early. It's in our county, and I want to see this. Do I have a motion?
Make that motion.
I'll second that.
seconded by Doug Schwartz. Any other discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Number 14, discussion action resolution 2024-3083 board rules. Same thing here. No one's been through our board rules since 1996, something like that. We're just bringing this stuff up. If you notice, we're sitting the way we were. This is the way we're supposed to sit. I was the only one that wasn't sitting where I'm supposed to. This is the way we're supposed to sit. We got some rules and we're gonna follow them. We're basically the same, we're just bringing them up to date. So do I have a motion for us to have the board rules?
I'll move to approve.
We have a motion by Roxanne. We need a second.
I'll second.
Second by Rick Bowles. Any other discussion? If none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Discuss action resolution 2024-3084, Aaron County Forestry and Parks 15-year comprehensive land use plan. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Scott making the motion. Second.
All aboard.
What do you want? We'll give it to Pat.
Okay. It's gonna say I heard
Pat,
three.
any discussion? Anything you want to say about this, Mr. Peterson?
This resolution is simply the increase of some park fees and utility easement fees. And we had to do it in this format because it changes some of the language in our 15-year plan. So this resolution, once you guys approve it, we'll forward it on to the meeting.
Okay, I have a motion and a second, and I have a little discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 16, discussion action on resolution 2024-3085, temporary administrative coordinator. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Scott Erickson,
All support.
seconded by Mario Loretti. Okay, we're gonna discuss this. We reached out to the department heads. No one wanted to do this at this time. One of the county board, anybody in the county board, we can have them do it for 6 months temporarily. Roxanne has agreed to volunteer to do it. I think it's a great idea because we don't really know what we want yet. With Roxanne, she's done similar things before. I think she's gonna help with some stuff. I think she's gonna figure out what we're gonna need. And I know Roxanne since April, and I know she's got some sort of plan. So would you tell us what your plan is to bring in front of this board in 6 months? I know you have something.
Sure. I'm gonna keep it just short and sweet for right
Okay,
now.
but I know you have some.
So there's really three main things that I think we need right away. And the first thing is we need to analyze. We need to ask, listen, investigate, figure out what does the county need. Do we need a county administrator or do we need an administrative coordinator? Because they're different. And do we need that person to be part-time or full-time? You know, so that's number one. And then after we decide that, so I'll be the liaison, effectively this position would be a liaison between the department heads and number one. And so I'll be bringing these things, ideas back to the board, so you guys will, have more communication, kind of be setting up for what this position will be someday when we do number two, which is post the position. Hopefully get somebody in here within 6 months. I'm thinking 3 months would be nice. I don't want to do this position for real long. Just so you all know, I'm going to abstain from voting. I don't want this position. I'm just volunteering to do this position because I have done positions like this in the past. And then the third thing is I think we've got to get our house in order. There are a number of things that we need to look at. We need to look at, for instance, the number of committees we have. We need to look at our organizational structure. We have department heads who don't report to any committees, or so on. So we need to look at that. We've got a wage study coming up. So third, just to get the house in order. So again, just analyze, post, get the house in order, keep the house in order.
That's the start.
Yeah.
That's the start. Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Opposed?
Abstain.
And Roxanne's gonna explain. Roxanne's gonna take, she's gonna be in our office. It's gonna be ours. She's gonna be in it, because I ain't been in it. I usually just run it from walking around. So she will be in that office if you need her. And I found that from department heads of telling me they like the idea that they're gonna be able to go to somebody, you know, instead of just me, because sometimes people come to me, I don't know the answers. And she might not know them all either, but she's gonna be able to help us. I think it's a good thing. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's done. Discuss action on 2024-3086 revised employee handbook. Need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Almost making that motion. I need a second.
I'll second.
Dougie will second it, and then we'll discuss it. It was one of the first things this board, when we sat down, we picked some things, and that was one of them. We redid the handbook. We really didn't redo the handbook. We got a different template. The department heads and the employees had a lot to do with this. A lot. Diane, Kristen, Melissa Geach, Callie, and Casey they were the leads. They brought it to me. We worked on this. I think they did a really nice job. It started out a little shaky because they thought we were having illegal meetings, but we weren't. So I think it worked out good. I have nothing but positive for you, right?
Yeah, it was great.
You're an employee. I mean, I think it is great. Diane was the keeper of it.
I think the shakiness started out with the way it was presented.
Yeah.
We thought it was just being, it all worked out.
This board don't roll like that. We won't, as long as I have a job, we're not gonna never roll like that. We want your input. You're very valuable to us, and we love your input. I think it's a good thing, and then now it won't be so bad. Like next year, we'll revisit it if they want to change something, or we think we want to change something, we just amend it, right, Roxanne? So it's good. It's a good thing. So with that, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 18, discussion, action, resolution on the wage study. I need a motion.
I'll make that.
We need a motion by Kurt Wolf. I need a second.
I'll second.
Seconded by Roxanne. Now we'll discuss this. This is on here. It's already in the budget. Kurt put the 25 grand was already in the 2025 budget. Reason Kurt did that is he put it there because Kurt, and if you know him like I know him, it was easier for Kurt to put it in there. And if we decided against it, take it out, then us to say we're doing it because Kurt don't want to find the money. Kurt wanted it there. And that's the way he rolls. Okay, so we already approved it with the budget, but I want you to know the reason. A year ago, I would have said no. Now I'm for it. I flipped because for one thing is we stopped the bleeding. Now we're trying to find out the areas where we can do it. All the employees in the department, I think it's a great thing. They want it studied. They don't know. We don't know. Like Kurt said, if you go to the coffee shop, employees get too much. Employees say they ain't getting enough. We've acted back and forth that for years since I've been here. I think we got to do it. If we're ever going to go to a referendum, we need all the tools that we have in our toolbox. If we ever go to a referendum and say, hey, we did this day. And if we ain't paying any money enough, as a board, we're going to have to figure out what we're going to do to pay them. If it's less, we're not going to take money away from them and say you ain't getting nothing. We'll figure it out as a board. You want us to do everything together as a board. That's why I think it's a good thing. Does anybody else want to talk about it?
So he's still using tribal money for half of this?
That's another question that got up. Is that what you want to do? Said he could take some out of it. He had it in there. I say we do because we have to have that money. Say what we're going to do with it by December 31st.
But we did decide.
That's what we did decide. I'm just.
Then I got things out of that.
Yep.
Yes,
So we had $12,000 or so worth
Yes.
of tribal money left that we had to spend at the end of the year.
Yep.
And we were gonna apply that to this
that did pass money.
Okay, is everybody good with
But
this
that's
way?
how you swung me over to commercial side.
Everybody in agreement with, I can't say everybody, but I want to vote on it, just even though we're sending money. Do you think we should vote on it or we don't have to? Everything we do is not gonna be unanimous, I know that, so I don't care. I left this on there because this board's gonna roll like this. We're all gonna know what's going on. What do you think? We just, all in favor? Or roll call?
Roll call. There's money involved. I agree with Karen. I
But
think.
we already spent it. Don't matter, roll call, do it, Dave.
Right, Muller,
Yes.
Moretti,
Yes.
Francis,
Yes.
Young,
Yes?
Thomas,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Kroll,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Bose,
Yes.
Lauer,
Yes.
Luchin, Wolf.
Okay, passes. 19, discuss action of foreign special use permit. Do I need a motion on this before we talk about it, Darren?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, I got a motion by Bill Thomas,
I'll second.
seconded by Kurt. Now we can discuss it.
Yeah, so this special use permit is a blank form that we'll use going forward for any special use requests on the county forest. But what brought this about was a request last summer to the forestry committee by a group that is gonna be doing a motorcycle race at Whitecap. And as part of that race, they're asking to use part of the county forest for their youth race. And we didn't have a special use permit and application. So what you guys are approving tonight is basically the format, and then once you approve it, I'll send it to this group, they'll fill it out, and we'll move forward with that. But that's all this is about.
I think it's a good thing. I hope it works for the guy.
Yeah, they're thinking that it's gonna be pretty popular and that it'll be an annual event.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 20, discuss action on the opioid work plan. Do we need an action on this? Because I know at health we've seen it. You know what I'm saying? This is an ongoing thing. Right? You know, and what I know is last week I had to go up to Cali. It was in Joe's name and stuff. I took it out of the old chairman's name. It's in mine. And then I also have Kristen. Everything I see, she sees. You see it, right? You might not see it, but Callie sees it. Melissa sees it. They had, at our health meeting, she handed us a thing. They got a plan. They got their ducks in a row. And as the money comes in, we'll see what we're gonna do with it. Do we need to take action on this? Or we don't know?
It never hurts.
Okay, I need a motion to,
Well, it's safe disposable medications, medical supplies, support harm reduction strategies, it's this professional development, training, collaboration, plan and support treatment and recovery options, goals, partnerships.
It's a certain amount of money from opioids.
well, it keeps coming in from different things, but like, we need a motion so they can keep working on the work plan. Okay, I need a motion so the opioid work plan can keep going.
I'll make a motion to approve the setup and plan that we have for the opioid.
Okay, I got a motion by Roxanne. Need a second? Seconded by Karen. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 21, discuss action on the 2025 Iron County Library View or Northern Waters Library Service. Need a motion on that?
I'll move to approve the Northern West Library Service agreement.
Got a motion by Roxanne. I need a second.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mario. Okay, we'll discuss this. And Roxanne, the perfect person to discuss this is you, because you're on it.
What this is the county's contribution for the Northern Waters Library Service District. And that's basically 8 counties up here in the northern, western part of the state of Wisconsin. And it just helps to keep that library system going. The county library's part of that fee is $12,272 for 2025.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Discuss action 2025 contract between Iron County and the Board of Regents, University of Wisconsin. I need a motion.
I like that motion.
Motion by Bill, I need a second.
I'll see.
Paul
Muller. Okay, we're gonna discuss it. Mary, you got anything to say? I sure appreciate you doing your mistakes, and I'm glad you're in this building.
Thank you, thank you. I'll turn it over to Roxanne, put it on the agenda. As I said a little bit earlier, the horticulture half-time position was eliminated due to budget considerations this year. And what this contract basically does is it's the whole agreement between the UW extension and the county. Every year we have one of these agreements. And it lays out the co-funded positions on page 2. So you'll see the youth development extension educator, Neil, and the community development extension educator, Joe. They're both co-funded with the county. So this contract lays out how they're co-funded, and all the other rules, and then on the back it has a page where it talks about how we invoice travel reimbursements and all those other sorts of administrative kinds of things.
Extension committee approval.
Extension committee, it approved it in concept way back in September, and then another thing happened in between. UW Madison came up with a different contract template, so it did finally come out with whatever tweaks to that contract template.
Yeah, that's, at the September meeting, we didn't have the newest contract.
But we knew that we were funding the 2 positions, and that's really been what this.
Mary, you got a good crew in there. I see them every day. They're very good. They're active in the community and they do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, thanks, and just to clarify too, thanks, because the 2 people are on that, and then Deb, who's food-wise, and Stephanie comes over once in a while, the food-wise as coordinator. Those are fully federally funded positions, so we have other people in the office too.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. There's other people.
Yes.
Okay, with that, all in favor?
Hi.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we're covering everything on this agenda. After I say Merry Christmas to everybody, we are adjourned.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Did great, Diane.
Thanks, Mark.
You only had to hit me twice.
Yeah, what the heck?
Probably like walking on toes here.
I'll work it.
I will be absolutely, you never know.
Yeah, you're right.
I would say so.
Great, both of you are going. Some part of the state is not being represented.
Okay.
I don't blame you. Where you going, Florida?
I think I'm here to leave for all. Sure
How you doing, Paul?
Best job ever.
Good.
I'm good.
You're gaining that now.
What's that, this, huh?
Nice. Yeah, it's like my own personal work. Yeah.
Right, Dougie.
Yeah, it's a nice one. They make this good swing line.
I would have your kids here.
You have a good Christmas, Paul.
Thank you very much. You got bring it.
I can't bring it home.